The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Well, it is Sunday, and that means Sunday Night Live on the Zoo right here on the Prepared Mind channel, the Prepared Mind channel, the Prepared Mind channel, the Prepared Mind channel. Hey, we're everywhere, folks. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We're on YouTube twice on two different Prepared Mind channels. And if you want to do a super chat, you've got to be on the Prepared Mind channel with 4,900 subscribers. And we've got, let's see, BitChute and all kinds of, we're everywhere, folks. Oh, but the most important one of all is the one that helps you with more than just information. And that is the preparedmind.club. The preparedmind.club is our website, and it's got, well, preps, things that you need to get you prepared for what is coming: food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. And folks, today, thank you there, Mr. Uman. That's one for the super chats. You can put that back up there because I'm going to talk about why I'm aboard the U308 this weekend. Thank you, Mr. Uman. We are. We're looking for the bottom, folks. Bitcoin is taking a huge dive, and we're trying to find the bottom of the hole that it's going to go into. Bitcoin, right? The king of cryptos. Looks like it's taken a bath and we're underwater. It's down into the 93,000 range from its high of 125,000. The point of talking about that is there's a lot of stock that has been placed in Bitcoin, quite literally. A lot of people believing it's going to, well, make them rich or save the economy. Trump seems to have some belief that stable coins and other crypto coins and Bitcoin, they're all going to make America great again. I'm not so sure about that. I think they're going to have their place, but good golly. Bitcoin is putting the hurt on a lot of people. It actually doesn't do a whole lot other than help you transfer, well, money from one place to another, or the perception of money from one place to another. Unlike silver, which is used industrially and militarily, or copper, which is used industrially and residentially. And anyways, Bitcoin going down. So we're going to keep in the U308, see if we can find the bottom with it. But it is the Prepared Mind Show. It is Sunday Night Live, which means you guys are in charge of the topics. It's your show. And we've got our usuals here, but we always get new people. Sometimes from around the world. We've got Steve Conlon in the UK and Bob Hunter in Scotland, and we've got our friends in Ireland and all over the place. We got Rami Marsh in, Denmark. Carlos down in Mexico. Carlos Granados. We're going to be talking about Mexico. Some big events happening down there, folks, as the world circles and comes down the toilet. And all pipes lead to the ocean. Good golly. So, if you want to be right here on the board, kind of like Uman has got his the link to the super chats. There's the button right up here. We've also got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal, and those are down in the video description. So starting Well, we're going to be playing that game for a little while, folks. If I disappear, I'll be back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, yeah. Yep, there we are. We've got Darcy T wants to start the show with a $50 super chat donation, and that gets me an 18-year single malt scotch. We're going to kick off the show. Any super chats, $50 or more. Make sure, folks, that I have a scotch. We stay lubricated as we talk. We're going to be on here for 2 hours. Sunday Night Live is 2 hours of live discussion about what happened last week and last year and what's going to happen this week and next year. Here's to you and Darcy T. Thank you for supporting the channel. She's got a great question comment tonight. Prost to that. Thank you, Salu, and down the hatch. Now, Darcy T. says, I'm sure you have already have this on your list of topics, but what do you think about the rift between Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Big Marge? Do you think Big Marge is on the level or just blowing smoke to keep us occupied while they further erode our freedoms? Well, I'll tell you what. What I do know about Marge Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia, is she has not taken any money from AIPAC, the America-Israeli Political Action Committee. Trump has taken over $250 million from AIPAC and AIPAC members. So he is, it would seem, a wholly owned politician. At least anytime they want, they can pick up the phone and call the president of the United States and gripe at him. And that has really put America in a position to question the validity of the relationship. Why isn't Israel part of, why isn't AIPAC required to register as a foreign agent under the laws of this country? Every other person who wants to put money into this country from outside, they have to do it, but not Israel. They get treated like a special case. Folks, Israel is not biblical. Israel is not the Israel of the Old Testament. Israel is a secular nation that took its name from the Bible in an effort to fool the world. And they keep pushing that, saying, you're not a blessed country unless you bless and give Israel your money. And so that's a big part of this rift between Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and between, well, there's a rift not just between Big Marge and Trump, but there's a rift throughout the Republican Party. There's a rift there, a big one. Because we were supposed to be Make America Great Again. But we have seen very little to do that, but we've seen quite a bit to make Israel great again. MIGA, M-I-G-A. And so I have been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks now that I want to be America first, right? It is most American. It is the best for America to be America first. Some people have gone so far as to say America only. I don't think I can go quite that far, right? We do live in a world. There are other countries and peoples and problems and issues and things, but we definitely need to take care of ourselves first before we take care of others. And our government, the United States government, the state governments, local governments, the politicians, the bureaucracy, they have demonstrated a willingness to shit on us and send millions and billions and even trillions of dollars to other places. And who gets enriched for it? Me, you? Well, we've been gifted inflation. We've been gifted a national debt. That's what we've gotten out of it. I think it was over $6 trillion was spent over the course of approximately 20 years while the American military was over in Afghanistan. Trillions of dollars in effort. What did you and I get out of it? Nothing. Well, then someone made an awful lot of money, didn't they? It did not benefit this country. That's why that was not an America first activity. And Americans are getting sick and tired of this shit. So, in any event, Trump started his shit last week. And if he feels offended or if he's been advised by his puppet masters, and I am obviously upset with Trump. I'm obviously upset with Trump because he is not putting us first. And then if you challenge him, if you question him or his administration or his decisions, then he attacks like a scorned, spoiled bitch. Period. Has he not? Now, I think that a lot of what he says and does with non-government people as well as government people he really doesn't act as presidential as I'd like, but that's his personality. That's what America has elected. Marge Taylor Greene at one point blew it with me, right? When she was sucking up to that weasel from California, Kevin McCarthy, as the Speaker of the House. He's just a giant, weenie gobbler and not a true American, not a true Republican, certainly not an America firster either. But sadly, most of Congress is not America first. But Big Marge is making political hay out of it. And it got Trump's attention, so he withdrew his support for her and said, we need to primary her. He's doing the same to Representative Massey as well. These are the two most pro-America, most America first Congress people we have. The two most outspoken, so it's easy to see why Trump would go after them. But if Trump was America first, and I'll ask this question, and it's just a question. If Trump was America first, wouldn't he stand by them and say, I love everything you're talking about, but these are our priorities and this is how we're going to address things? Instead, he says, I'm going to primary you. You're an idiot. He makes fun of him. With Marge, he withdrew his support. She came out and said, hey, look, I spent in my campaign, my time, my money getting you elected, and this is how you're going to treat me. And so, yeah, they've been going back and forth. But late today, Big Marge decided to say, hey, we need some peace. We need some unity. And she apologized for her toxic politics. I'm waiting to see if Trump is going to respond in kind. But through all of this, there is a huge problem in the Republican Party. We want freedom. We want our Constitution. We want to be first. We don't want to be second. We don't want to wait till Israel says or Ukraine says or the city of London says or the European Union or the World Economic Forum. Since they opened the government back up, the skies are now covered in chemtrails again. Covered in them. We want our skies clear, our water clean, our food safe, no GMO, no mRNA, no vaccines, no forced mandate shots, no mandatory anything. Get these fucking crazy Muslims out of our country that want to take over and are lawfully just coming right out and explaining their law that they're going to subdue us, control us, dominate us, and take us. We've got a lot of problems. We don't need to be focusing overseas. But we'll talk about this, folks. We'll get into all of it. We've got terrorists here. Uman says, I'm fine with America only until we get our shit in order. That's where I'm at, Uman. Mikey just says, America only until the debt is paid off. See, this is what I'm talking about. Let's focus on America first. Solve our problems. Not just recognize our problems. Not just talk about them. Not just debate them. Not just tinker in them a little and then go fuck around on the other side of the planet again or send our money over there. Redneck Roughneck says, I'm fine with them lowering our taxes and running them Ethiopia commercials like they used to for letting us decide if we want to send them money. And that's just it. See, you and I, thank you, Redneck Roughneck, we're being forced to support things that we don't agree with, like drag queen lessons in Uganda, $5 million, right? 20 million, 100 million, 200 million, going to all these countries around the world, pushing left-wing socialist concepts and just filthy projects, the transgender drag queen, pornographic crap that has its roots in Judaism needs to be done. And that's exactly where it comes from. Now, we've got a lot of trouble. We've got a lot of trouble in this country. We need to fix it. Kathleen Ralston says, yeah, I'm pretty done with him, but what's the alternative? Now, I thought about that, Kathleen. What's the alternative to Trump? If we had not elected Trump and instead got Camel Toes Harris, right? Kamala, or whatever the hell her name is and how she pronounced it, that disgusting, filthy pig, we would have been even further down the road to communism and transgenderism and the LGBT crap, and we would be really in a lot worse shape. So Trump is demonstrating and proving to us, yeah, there's a benefit to the lesser of two evils, if you will. Right? The lesser of two bad ideas. The thing is we don't have to accept bad ideas. There are good things. Anyways, back to Darcy T and her $50 super chat and her question. She says, do you think Big Marge is on the level, or is she just blowing smoke to keep us occupied, distracted? I really believe she's on the level with this. I don't think she's perfect. I think she can probably be bought. Certainly, she's been influenced to back off in her rhetoric and fight with Trump. Like I said, now I have to wait to see if Trump is going to back off. I know that the government loves to keep us distracted. We've got issues with our military. We've got issues with our education. We got issues on Wall Street. We've got issues with schools. We've got issues with everything, folks. Our jobs, our economy, our imports, oil, energy, you name it. A huge problem we're having right now is our monetary system. Over the weekend, the banks, we're talking the big banks, the 8 big boys in the Federal Reserve were meeting because right now we are going into a liquidity crunch issue, problem, right? In other words, fiat currency doesn't solve problems. It creates problems. Now, back in 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard by temporarily closing the gold window, which is still closed after 54 years, they substituted gold with paper, fiat. And it's not backed by anything. It's not pegged to anything. So we've been suffering an additional tax of anywhere from 2 to 10% annually. Well, at some points in the 1970s, inflation was at 15%. Inflation is a hidden tax. It reduces the value of your dollar so you can buy less with it. Your purchasing power is removed, even though our wages don't go up commensurate with inflation. We're like, did you go any faster, pal? Whoop. So switching from paper in your hand to electronic fiat is not going to fix a fucking thing. China's already figured it out, along with Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa, and another, 4 or 5 dozen countries that you settle your debts with gold. You don't have gold-backed money, but you settle your debts with gold, and that builds trust instead of, you just gave me a bunch of paper and then devalued it 10%. And this paper isn't going to be redeemable for another 5 years, and every year it goes down 2%, 5%. I lose a portion of my money just to have the privilege of borrowing American dollars to trade in. Now they're saying, well, we have an even playing field with gold. You settle your debts with it. That's where we're going. They want to keep us occupied while they figure out their problems. Meanwhile, the fucking Titanic is going down. We're on the U308 trying to find the bottom of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, who is the Bitcoin pimp du jour, pimp extraordinaire, who, by the way, 20 odd years ago lost $25 billion of his investors' money, was a fraudster, and he resurfaces as the king of Bitcoin. And then he releases over the weekend a meme. It shows in the background of his meme the Titanic going down. It shows him in a little rubber raft as a escape raft, and 4 letters, HODL, hodl. He's telling everyone to hodl, hold on for dear life as the ship goes down. But he's on an escape life raft. Not a good picture. It didn't come off the way it if he had intended any different. To me, it looked like a slap in the face. Hey, you guys hang on as you go down. I'm out of here. In any event, it is your show. It is Sunday Night Live, and we are off. Mr. Uman, we're going to do some super chats and have some fun. And he says, isn't the captain supposed to go down with the ship? Well, yeah, back when captains had dignity and when they were accountable and responsible. Today, now, look at our politicians that jump ship. They steal all they can and they jump ship and leave. Look at our politicians enriching themselves. I think Nancy Pelosi, over her career in trading, is up 17,000%. That's 170x on her investment. Yeah, they don't stay on the ship and go down with it, folks. They pilfer the ship safe and then escape. The days of dignity are done, right? There was a president once who actually had a thing on his desk, a note, right? A sign. It said, the buck stops here. In other words, he's the responsible party. I think that was Harry S. Truman. Anyways, folks, we're well over 300 people live already. Share the internet address. Hit the share button down below. Share the internet address. Friends, family, loved ones, coworkers, I don't care, your neighbors. Tell them to wake up. Send them the link to this show. They need to get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We could have a bank closure tomorrow, or the banks just don't open tomorrow. This was done with President Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR. They shut the bank down for several days to solve their problems. And when they reopened it, some things had changed. The people were told gold is now going to be worth more, right? But you can't own it. You got to turn it in. We're going to give you a raise, a bonus on your, right? They changed things around, and then we went on a gold standard. And folks, they, whoever they are, right? The Federal Reserve, the President, the Treasury, the European Central Bank, Rex Mundi, whoever these people are, right? They can change anytime they want. We have been living, you and I, in an odd era of what I'm going to call American supremacy. The world has believed America has been in charge since World War II, and we haven't. Our government is controlled by the people that pay its bills and pull its ropes and strings, the puppet masters, if you will. Whether it's London, City of London, that bank, the Vatican, Israel, right? They are the ones pulling. But America appears to be the policeman, right? We are the economic powerhouse. But, right, that's changed. It's changed. We've lived in this system where no one can fuck with us, and they really still can't militarily. We've got the nukes. We can out-nuke just about everyone but Russia, right? So we've got that. We've got prestige. We've got history on our side. Our lives, my whole life has been in this era of everything's just fine. Social Security will be there. The dollar is strong, right? I can go anywhere in the world and people will respect the fact that I'm from the United States of America, right? You don't get fucked with as much. That's all going away. Right? The world is losing respect because they see that the president is the lapdog of higher powers that people can't see, but you know they're there. You can feel that they're there because Trump started off campaigning as Make America Great Again. America first. We're going to fix all of our problems. We're going to go after Epstein's clients and arrest them. Whoops, no. He did shut the southern border. Yes, good job. But he's going to be the peace president. Whoa, we've got all these wars, right? I don't want to be president. Who would want to be president? I guess egomaniacal, guys do. In any event, folks, lots to talk about, but I want to know what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about? Ooh, man, let's dig into the super chats. And we start with a $10 super chat, which, of course, back at the Prepared Mind bunker, keeps the lights on and the tuna fish and the Spam stocked up, rice and beans, and, of course, keeps me in a healthy supply of scotch. In any event, Northern Pike, it is a $10 super chat. He says, John, what do you think? From Northern Pike YouTube, Marge Taylor Greene sounds like a baby duckling, quack, 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 lost from its siblings and mama duck, just ready for a big fish to eat it, trouble on the way for the lost duckling. Well, the way I see it is we have Washington, D.C., Northern Pike. It is full of cowards and liars and hypocrites. They get elected to go there to do a job. They talk big. They don't talk like ducks. They talk like they're lions. Then they get to Washington, D.C., and then they start sounding like sheep, all following one another, trying to figure it out. Yeah, and then when one of them or two of them or three of them or a handful, it doesn't matter, get out of hand, yeah, they start, I guess you could say, compared to all the sheep, they sound quite a bit different, right? Ba, 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 and then Marge is like quack, quack, quack. Sounds a bit different. And let me talk about these people in Washington. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is calling out the Democrats. You see, in my opinion, the Democrats are doing everything they can to destroy America. And the Republicans are doing everything they can to allow it to happen. This is incredible. The Speaker, Mike Johnson, says, quote, the Democrats want to subsidize the broken system. I agree. They want to subsidize it. In other words, we've got a broken government system. We got a broken economy, a broken monetary system. They want to, well, print more money, loan more money, give more money, subsidize it to keep it going. But it's broken. It's broken. Why keep doing that? So when someone stands up and says, we've got to stop doing what we're doing, say someone like Rand Paul. Hey, thank you, Senator Rand Paul. You got some great ideas. And then he'll say something absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, where the fuck did that come from? I thought you were trying to fix problems. You just wanted to do it some more. Thomas Massey, Marge Taylor Greene, yeah, they're doing a lot of quacking or a lot of barking, if you will. The system is broken. The country is broken. It is broken. But who's going to get the blame if we get a huge stock market crash? Or if we get a huge terror attack? If we get any number of big problems happening, they'll blame the president. They'll blame the Federal Reserve. Right? They'll blame Congress. But yeah, these people, folks, they're all lost. I know that right now, the Japanese have a saying. Let me see if I can use this story or euphemism. Is the Japanese have a saying, don't be the nail that stands up higher than all the rest, right? You got all these nails, but one of them's way up here because that's the nail that gets hit first. It gets the most attention. There is a huge problem with supporting other countries instead of America first. It tells the rest of the world, hey, if you spend enough money, you can buy these politicians and they'll do what you want. They'll even fuck their own people over in order to benefit you because you gave them money. So they do. But if we were America first and foremost and only until our problems were solved, the rest of the world would be shit. Right? We're not first in line. We're now last in line. We better play nice with America instead of playing these fucking games with, well, all we got to do is throw money at Trump, throw money at the Republican Party, throw money at Congress people, and we'll get our way. We need to bribe or extort bureaucrats in the State Department, right? The Securities and Exchange Commission, the Treasury, and we'll get our way. So you ask, what do you think? Marge Taylor Greene sounds like a baby duckling. Yeah, she doesn't have anyone with her. She's all right. She's the nail standing up higher than the others. You've got to respect the bravery for doing that, especially going up against a very media savvy guy like Trump, who is much better at insulting people than he is at solving problems. And I know that's a huge shitty thing to say, but if he was better at solving problems, he would solve the problems and there wouldn't be anyone bitching at him. But hey, I mean, once again, there is no solving problems in Washington, D.C. because it's full of traitors and sellouts and cowards and sheep who are standing at the food trough eating money being poured into their food trough by other countries, corporations. Our nation's in trouble, folks. And when we get in trouble, there's really two of the biggest ways for us to feel it is war and our economy. And our economy is tied to real estate. It's tied to money. It's tied to Wall Street. It's tied to investments. It's tied to production. It's tied to trade. And it's crippled. Absolutely crippled. The only good thing for us, you and I in America, is all the other countries, they're also in the pen at the slaughterhouse waiting to be just destroyed. We're the prettiest pig in the pen or the prettiest mare at the slaughterhouse. So you and I are going to do well, relatively speaking, to other countries like England and Europe and Canada and Mexico and Australia and China. They're all in worse shape than us. But we have had a standard of living up here, which has been something the rest of the world has wanted forever. Right? It's something that we can lose. Crazy business. All right, Mr. Uman, let's continue. Thank you, Northern Pike. I appreciate the great support and the great topic. Not afraid to address these folks. It's not going to be a pretty situation because no one is right, because no one's allowed to be right. Who's next, Mr. Uman? We've got Nancy Keg checking in with a $20 super chat donation. And she said, hey, thank you, little sister. She said, just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Your choice of topics, Semper Fi, Prepared Mind family, always heart. Okay. Thank you, Nancy. And let's see. What do we want to talk about? I've got a good one here. I think you're going to like this. We've had another flight make an emergency landing due to a bomb threat. This time, the emergency landing took place to United Airlines in St. Louis, right in the heart of the country. Someone decided to do a bomb threat. What does that tell you? Right? That is a terrorist move. A bomb threat and an airplane is a terrorist move. That's an act of terrorism. Now, blowing the plane up is a bigger act of terrorism, but when people see that there's bomb threats, that bothers them. Planes land, planes and flights are delayed, planes and flights are canceled, people are inconvenienced. It really is just bad news. And they're becoming more frequent. What that tells me is the political rhetoric is up. Our enemies are encouraged. Our problems are up. Right? Higher, more complicated financial problems, political problems, trade problems. Right? We've got lots of problems. And so what better time to attack as a terrorist? And what do terrorists do? They use force or the threat of force. They use violence or the threat of violence to cause action, to scare people, to terrorize them, to terrorize governments into, well, reacting or acting or behaving in a certain fashion. They want us scared. So I'm expecting more of this. I'm actually expecting planes to come down. I'm expecting airports to be bombed. We're being threatened by people who, well, claim to be our allies. We give them airtime, and they tell us exactly what's going on. Oh, there's going to be another 9/11 style false flag. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got Laura Loomer. We got Kash Patel's girlfriend We've got many people that run to the media and say, I know, we're going to get another 9/11. We're hearing a lot of that lately, and I really believe that is affecting Trump's decision-making. That he's being told, you need to get your country under control with respect to the First Amendment, right? Free speech. I don't like it, folks. I don't like it when the City of London or the Vatican or Ukraine tells us what to do. Unbelievable. Okay, thank you, Nancy. Really appreciate that. What do you guys think, though? Do you see it? Now, I want to say, hey, look, we're going to have a lot of people watching this video. A lot of people are going to watch this video, and they're going to tell other people, but they're going to read the comments. In the comment section, you can ask questions that could make it on the screen. Like I said, super chats do, but they want to see what is it that they should be concerned about? What is it that other people are talking about? What is getting their attention? I think a lot of that is really important. You know, what is getting people's attention? Help them out. They're going to come here and look. In the comment section, that's where you can be helpful. Mr. Uman, let's do it. Let's have some more fun. We got Dan. Big Dan the man out of Washington State with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, we now have a Democratic socialist mayor in Seattle. What the fuck are these voters thinking? Well, I'll tell you what, Dan. They're listening to people who are sympathetic to their concerns. The voters of Seattle are listening to candidates who have shared life experiences and shared life complaints, shared life wants, and so they've elected a fucking communist. Now, this woman who looks like the wages of sin, right? This little white liberal communist piece of shit is not going to be mayor of Seattle. She's in her early 40s, and guess what she does? Guess where she gets her money? Well, she doesn't have a career. She doesn't own a corporation. Her parents support her. She's in her 40s. She can't even take care of herself, but somehow she's going to run Seattle. She's going to manage Seattle. She's going to show Seattle how to be a better city, a profitable city, a solid city, a safe city. She may as well be fucking Antifa, and for all I know, she is. But this is what's happening is they get on the campaign trail and they're not promising to make jobs better. They're not promising anything. They're just saying, we're going to give you free stuff. We're going to make sure you get free stuff. And the communist trick, this is not the first time it's happened to a country. They did it to Russia 120 years ago. They started playing this game in Russia with Marxist ideology. And you can change the name to communism or socialism or liberalism or progressivism. It's all the same thing. It's promising things to people that other people have, and they're going to make sure they get it. It's the Santa Claus technique, right? Santa Claus is going to win because they're promising free stuff. And so the uneducated, or rather the completely ignorant morons that are voters, they don't look into history and go, well, wait a minute. Yeah, the communists took over in Russia. They killed the bad guys. Yay. They took all the money from the rich people. Yay. But none of them knew how to run a country. None of them knew how to farm to make food. None of them knew how to produce anything so that they had, well, clothing, transportation, right? Industry. They didn't know it. They fucking collapsed the whole country. They starved tens of millions of hardworking farmers because they just went in and just took all of their equipment, took all of their food, took all of their seed. You can't grow next year's crops without seeds from last year's crops. So they took that as food and just ate that as well. People starved. Tens of millions were killed. And many people believe intentionally because it was intentional. It was a political decision that makes it intentional. These people intentionally promise everything, the Santa Claus, take what is available, destroy everyone's wealth, You want to watch a great movie? Watch Dr. Zhivago. Watch Dr. Zhivago and you'll see how they did it. The movie kind of incrementally shows the communists moving into rich people's homes. The rich people get shoved into one room. They get all their stuff taken from them. They don't get to keep anything of value. Everything is share and share alike until there's nothing left to share. First New York City on one coast, way on the other coast, Seattle. Down in Los Angeles, they have a Marxist bitch of a mayor who stopped putting water in reservoirs, allowed the fucking city to burn. Right now, dipshit Gavin Newsom, a complete bungling Marxist fuckwad, is in Brazil in a destroyed rainforest they set up so they can have their climate meeting. Right? He's destroying the climate in California. He burned millions of acres in Northern California, burned hundreds of thousands of acres in Southern California, destroying homes, cities, just beautiful California. That's who these people are. They promise everything and destroy it all. And then the people are left there going, that's not what I voted for. I was told I was going to have a good life because of these guys. It's all a fucking lie. That's it. It's all a lie. The betrayal, folks, of government to its people comes in the form of promising everything without saying you're going to have to bust your ass for it. You have to work for it. They just promise to give it away. That's exactly what they do and exactly what we have. Mr. Ooman, let us continue the show. We're doing great. We've got a lot of great topics on the board. We got Big Dan the Man is back with another $5 super chat donation. And he says, with our current $38 trillion debt, every person in this country would owe $103,000 to pay it off. We're fucked. Now, here's the deal. Dan, everyone, the legal definition, that is the statutory definition of person, includes corporations. You and I are American taxpayers. Corporations also pay taxes. So if we add all of the companies, the corporations up, that amount that everyone owes would be a lot less. Now, they've given us, you and I, a progressive income tax, which is one of the 10 items on the Communist Manifesto. One of the 10 planks is the progressive income tax. The share that should be paid by corporations should be much higher than $103,000 to pay off the debt, right? The corporation has a lot more gross income, a lot more adjusted income, a lot more net income. You know, the debt could be paid, except every single year, guess what the government does? It spends more money than it takes in. And it has to do with how fiat money works. You've got to have more cash in the system because it gets destroyed, it gets consumed, and it gets sheltered. So if they print a bunch of money, be they paper dollars or digital dollars, and some rich corporation, some rich person, or some government hoards those dollars, now there's not currency in circulation. If there's no currency in circulation, what happens? The economy slows down. So they've got to keep printing that money. So they do that by spending it, right? That's their fiscal policy. There's no way to run this system, right, without destroying us, the debt, whatever. And so it just continues to grow. And that's why we got this hockey stick type look. If you look at 100 years of the US dollar as under the Federal Reserve System, it runs kind of flat and it starts going up, hits 1971 and starts shooting straight up. Straight up. If the government quit spending money more than it takes in, we could pay down the debt. They could print, say, a $100 trillion bill, or maybe mint a $100 trillion platinum coin and just pay off all of our debt. But see, it just when you think about it in those terms, it's fake. It's bullshit. It's fiat. Right? It's fiat. But on top of that 38 trillion you speak of, Dan, we have the estimate I've heard is anywhere between 100 and 200 trillion dollars in unfunded liabilities. That is money that the government owes, that it's promised to others, it's promised to the people, it's promised to businesses, it's promised to other countries. It's a lot of money out there. Right? We have to do something, right, with this problem. Currently, and the answer has been, well, we'll just print our way out of it. We will inflate our way out of it. Meaning they're going to print more dollars, and that'll make the value of the dollar less, and that'll allow the debt to appear to be less substantial of a threat to our existence. But the net result of all this printing is the debt just literally goes vertical, straight line up. It cannot be sustained. And that's the problem we're getting into. It cannot be sustained. So this week or this weekend, I've heard promises that in the coming week, Trump is going to make some huge announcement. The Federal Reserve is going to make some huge announcement. Something really big is coming. Now, of course, I hear that all the time about asteroids and the sun, the enemy, some pandemic, some giant catastrophe is going to befall us all. Okay, that's why we're preppers. That's why we have food and water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. That's why we have a plan. That's why we understand what's going right. Try and understand things. But it is our own government. And it's not just the Democrats. It's certainly not just the Republicans. It's what government does. Government presumes ownership over you and I. It presumes to be our master, when in fact it is nothing more than a petulant child with access to our wallets, with access to our retirement accounts, with access to our personal treasury, and they're spending the fuck out of it. So that when you sit down with pencil and paper and a calculator, Dan, you're like, holy shit, I owe $103,000 to this fucked up government. If I gave it to them in one shot, all they would do is just spend it and put us in more debt. In any event, folks, we're almost at 400 people live. Great turnout today. It's you guys that have done this. Hit the share button down below. Get the internet address out of the URL, the internet address out of the bar above, and send it to friends, family, loved ones, your neighbors, whatever. And also hit the thumbs up. If you've got a question, a comment that you want to share with everyone in the comment section, you've got to be a subscriber for 5 minutes or more. And if you want to get on the screen like Big Dan the Man, we've got a super chat button right up there. You hit that and I will make you famous. And you will influence the thoughts of thousands of people. And that's something that's fascinating in our time in this life. Influencers. I hate that fucking term. I'm not trying to influence people. You know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to help people think. I'm prompting people to think. I'm providing topics and subjects that I think people should think about. I don't want to influence them. I want them to think, right? The questions you ask, the topics you bring up, amazing. We're fucking thinking. That's the last thing government wants. They do not want you to think. They want you to listen and obey. They want to hand you information and say, these are the facts, even if they're lies. So do as you're told, right? Do as you're told. That's what they want. That's how they operate. But you guys share with other people, wake them up. You talk about subjects that make it onto the board. It causes people to think. It's not just me. I'm not influencing. You guys, it's your show, especially on Sunday Night Live, right? This is crazy. It's been crazy. The government lies. It does not want you to think. It wants you to listen. It does not want you to question. It wants you to obey. It does not want you to see what it does. It gets mad at you when you do that. For example, the FBI director, Kash Patel. He is a lying sack of shit. Now, when he first got started out, I heard the things he said before the election. We're going to expose the Epstein files. We're going to make arrests. I'm going to fix the FBI. We're going to clean this place up, right? What does he do? He's become a giant asshole. He's threatening Americans. His girlfriend is suing at least one social media person. We can't trust the mainstream media, so we come to, the internet, talk to each other, to share information, ideas, and thoughts. And they don't like that. Right? We know who they were before they got appointed, and now that they're in Washington, in positions of power, what do? They screw us over. Now, one thing that just popped up this weekend, Kash Patel is talking about the investigation into the January 6th pipe bomber. Well, wait a minute. Last week, we already heard that, they know who the pipe bomber is. They've identified her. She was a Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police officer who ended up getting hired by the CIA after her participation in making Americans, American patriots, America firsters, called them insurrectionists, right? So Kash Patel, right, wants to pretend like, well, he's breaking the news. Oh, man, we've got an investigation into the J6 pipe bomber, right? We've got the suspects identified, blah, blah, blah. He says, well, wait a minute, but we've got an ongoing investigation. So everyone calm down. We'll take care of this. Once again, stop asking questions, America. Stop thinking about this. Stop pointing out our inconsistencies. Stop pointing out how we've lied to you, how we've buried information, how we buried the investigation, how we did nothing with the investigation, how we found out who did it, and we did nothing to them. They walked. How many Democrats have been arrested? None. The January 6th committee, suborned perjury, felony, destroyed evidence, felony, manufactured evidence, felony. They were given bullshit pardons from an auto pen with Biden, another felony. How many of them been arrested? None. Other acts of treason by the FBI, the old director, Comey. And then you have Christopher Wray, that one. No one's arrested. No one. Pam Bondi, Bimbo Bondi, right? She runs to Fox News as if that's where her next meal is coming from. She's there every day. Nothing. But so we're caught on. We know who it is. Kash Patel comes out and goes, oh, well, we've got an ongoing investigation. No, we know who she is. But he says this. He wants to promise everything's going to be fixed. And says, hey, stay tuned. We're going to let you know what's going on. Kash, one eye fishing, one eye squirrel hunting, all of this fucking clown tells us to stay tuned. Pay attention. He has lied directly to Congress. I think he was on a social media influencers show. I think 6 times he was on Stu Peters. He's asked if he'd ever been on Stu Peters. In front of Congress, he lies directly and says, never heard of him, don't know who it is. Lies to us, the people. And he's attacked and filed lawsuits against Americans for questioning him and insulting his girlfriend, right? And then he comes out and in a very aggressive tone, Kash Patel, FBI director, says we have to make, as Americans, Israel a priority. Why? Why the fuck does the FBI need to warn you and me and tell us we better worship Israel? Do they make our food? Do they make our cars? Do they make our clothes? Do they provide us with gold and silver and jewels and diamonds? And do they make us rich? Are they responsible for our success, our prosperity, our wealth, our freedom, our liberty? No, none of those things. Everything with Kash Patel, everything with Washington, D.C., everything with the media is all kabuki bullshit theater all the time. It's all promises of justice, and it's all threats of jail time. There's no arrests for the people in power. There's no prosecutions. There's no justice. But if you expose an election like Tina Peters in Colorado, she came with the goods. She had the information. She said, hey, look at this. They cheated in the election. So they arrest her, throw her in prison. And to this day, she is still in there, sick and rotting. They keep her cell close to freezing. That is cruel and unusual punishment. She's an old woman, and they are torturing her with cold air, right? Everything. For what? For exposing their fucking lies. This is why I don't believe Trump. He could pardon her. It's not like he has not heard Tina Peters' fucking name. Crazy business, folks. I tell you what, Mr. Uman, I believe we got something from Alan Meyer Jensen out there. He says, digital money is the world's biggest scam, a.k.a. the assets swap. Funny, no one talks about offshore banking and the Pandora scam or Panama Papers, the FX. Same scam they did under the Civil War, the new money scam, the greenback scam, also the Tariff Act of 1867. Actually, what started that war, tariffs. We all learned that in high school. What we learned pieces and parts. Even in school, which is a government-run institution, they don't tell us the truth. They tell us what they want us to know. They don't tell us, make up your own mind. They say, this is what we want you to believe, so believe it. And then we're going to ask you to regurgitate those answers on the tests. And if you answer the questions right, we're going to give you a degree and tell you you're a good person. Right? All governments are awful. All countries could be free and prosperous, except there are thieves. There are corrupt individuals who take positions of power. They're entrusted with the nation's well-being, whether it's food, shelter, clothing, security, right? Maslow's hierarchy. Once again, Maslow's hierarchy, the things we need to survive so that we can live well, and governments steal it. And if they don't, they have another government come into that country, take over, take control of it, put their own people in charge, right? A puppet government, and then they do the stealing. A lot of countries just have their natural resources raped from them, whether it's minerals in the ground or oil or food. They just have it stolen from them and sent elsewhere. That's what Rome did. Everywhere Rome 2,000 years ago, everywhere they went, they conquered the land, they conquered the people, they stole their food, stole their wealth, sent it back to Rome so the people in Rome lived well. That was imperial Rome. That was the Roman Empire. That was their model. Ultimately, there's not enough of them to spread themselves across the known world. They steal everything and harm every country so they can no longer support them, and it ultimately collapses. We are now in what's called the fourth turning, and it does happen across like the Civil War, and then World War I, and then World War II, and then the Korean War, and then the Vietnam War, and then the Gulf War, and then the War on Terror, and then, here we are. It's the same thing all the time. It's kabuki bullshit. The government finds a boogeyman, blames them for the problems we're having, starts a war, and then we all get raped and robbed. It's the same shit every time. The only thing is, in the United States of America, we are close to or at the top of the comfort pyramid. There's another country that does better than us. Did you know that? It's called Israel. Israel, they get subsidized housing, free medical care, free college, free everything. Yes, I'm sure they have businesses. Yes, I'm sure many have jobs, but they get taken care of by their country. Where does Israel get its money from? The United States sends billions and billions and billions of dollars there every year. So do other countries. So do other countries, because they've been told, you will work for, you will worship them, right? Because that's God's chosen people. Have you seen these fucking people? Good God. Anyways, here we are. Every country is getting screwed over by its own government. And I'm going to talk about one that is going to make you just go, what the fuck? If you haven't heard, if you have not paid attention, there was on this weekend a revolt in Mexico. A revolt in Mexico, folks. Screams of Viva la Revolucione, right? This is why I want Carlos Granados on here. I would like Carlos's opinion, Carlos's understanding, Carlos's perspective. They had a massive riot in Mexico City. They have this massive square, huge. It's like 6 city blocks, but it's paved. It's open. It's just a huge piazza, right? It's a massive riot they had with people attacking the police and LaGuardia. They put up steel fences or metal fences. The police were out there with their riot shields, building a protective wall, trying to protect the government from the people. Right? This revolution was explosive in Mexico City. Thousands and thousands of absolutely pissed off Mexicans, whether you want to call them rioters or protesters or revolutionaries, they are pissed off because their government has failed them. The very thing we've talked about. Mexico is not up here on the comfort level. They're just south of the border of us. They don't have the comforts that we have in the United States of America or Canada or Australia or England or Europe or Israel or Russia or China. They don't have that. If you've ever been to Mexico, it's second world. It's the emerging market, right? It's got a lot of the stuff we have. Well, yeah, it has gas and cars and electricity. They have homes and air conditioning. Not all of them, but it's there. It's available if you got enough money. They've got gasoline and Coca-Cola. They've got Kentucky Fried Chicken and Burger King. They've got it, right? But if your country is in such bad shape, if the economy is absolutely ruined, if the people are living in fear, they can only do it for so long. And they, the Mexicans, are fucking fed up with the cartel coddling leftist president. So they stormed the presidential palace, folks. Hundreds of people injured and beat up. The police, folks, beat the ever-loving shit out of the Mexican people. And the Mexican people beat the ever-loving shit out of the police when they could get their hands on them. I watched one video where they grabbed the cop, drug him into a crowd. First thing you see is a guy punch him right in the nutsack. Because that's what he meant to hit him. He did it on purpose, right? They are not happy, and the police are just doing my duty. Well, the people have had it. They crashed through the barricades. Someone spray painted Punta Judeo. There it is. Punta Judea, which means Jew whore or Jewish whore on the National Palace. Right when you put that up, man, I was right there in my head, ready to go with that. Yeah, Jewish whore. Speaking about their Jewish presidente, right? Who's their president? Scheinbaum. Why are they pissed at Scheinbaum? Why are they calling her a Jewish whore? Well, she has allowed cartel members to put her into that position, right? Instead of some foreign bank, some foreign institution like the World Economic Forum saying, this is who we want to run Mexico. The drug cartels are so powerful in Mexico that they have put her into power. During the presidential election, I believe 36 or 37 other potential and presidential candidates were assassinated. Who wants to run for office? They're like, nada, right? Don't pick me because you'll fucking get killed. And that's how they got Scheinbaum into power. That's interesting. Scheinbaum. Sounds Mexican, doesn't it? Funny, she doesn't look Jewish. A little callback there. And in any event, she is in power, and she has allowed the drug cartels to steal, to kidnap, sex traffic, to rape the people and the country, to murder and also assassinate political opponents. She has allowed all of that to happen. And the people of Mexico, folks, I love Mexicans. I don't like the illegals that come here because they're breaking our laws. But the Mexican people that are here in this country that have done it right, I love them. When you go to Mexico, and I've been to Mexico, you love the Mexican people. They're fucking great. The Mexican people have had too much of this bullshit, though, of drug cartels, absolutely some of the worst fucking humans on the planet, killing them, raping them, stealing from them, running them, right? The drug cartels are the government. The people of Mexico have had too much of this, and they went to Mexico City, and they fucking just fucked that place up. Now, that's happened before, folks. In the United States of America, we told the king, go fuck yourself. And we fought his troops. We fought his military. We threw their courts out. We threw their governor out. We threw their troops out. We won. Fuck you. It was messy. It was ugly. People died everywhere. It was a fucking war. Shortly thereafter, in France, same thing. The people had enough of the fucking king of France. He's an asshole. He was starving the people, fucking stealing all their money, raping the women, fucking them over, burning their fields, burning their barns, whatever it took to maintain control. And it was too much. And they stormed the Bastille, freed the prisoners. They went to Versailles. They got the fucking king, and they cut his fucking head off. Revolution ugly. I've always, there's, when things get so bad and the people are pissed, this is what happens. Now, the commies are different. They're promised not freedom and liberty. They're not promised, hey, prosperity and a good life. They're promised other people's shit. The communist revolutions are about murdering not the government. That gets removed too. But they murder everyone who isn't one of them, who isn't a communist. That's why the Chinese communists, not only did they overthrow their fucking government under Mao Tse-tung's fucking color revolution, they also murdered, I think, 40 or 50 million people. Same with the Russians, the Soviet commies. They stole everyone's shit and murdered 30, 40, 50 million people. No one knows because they murdered so many. The people that were keeping track of the numbers, they murdered them. The people of Mexico have had enough. Do you think it's the same in other places? Holy shit, it is our good friend Carlos Granados from Mexico with 223 Mexican pesos. And he says, hey, John, looking for me? I'm very glad you're here, Carlos. He says, yes, we Mexicans are pissed off at the dealing government. Yes, the president is Jewish. Scheinbaum selling out Mexican to the cartels. A high-profile mayor of Uruapan was deleted. He was assassinated just last week. We talked about it, Carlos. Sparking these recent protests. Yeah, right away they killed this guy. He was a great guy. He was a powerful mayor. The people loved him. He was trying to fight the cartels. He went to Scheinbaum, I don't know, dozens of times. Right? This whore of a president of Mexico, Scheinbaum, sold out the fucking country, sold out the people, and then had the mayor. He was assassinated. I like that, Carlos, that you said deleted. And it started protests in Uruapan, and then they went all the way to Mexico City. Mexico, folks, is unbelievable. It is. Now, I know that in the United States of America, we think of spaghetti westerns. And so we got this image in our head of fucking desert and hot and tequila and cactuses. It is an incredibly beautiful country. The mountains, the volcanoes. It is rich in agriculture, in history, in culture, where you had the French influence, the Spanish influence, and then it developed its own culture. Mexico is incredible. It is rich in mineral resources, folks, oil. It is rich. So why are the Mexican people so poor, is my question. Because government fucks them over. What do you think is happening to Canada right now? Canada is trying to pass laws to allow the euthanasia, the killing of youths. Oh, sorry about that vaccination, child. I guess you're kind of jacked up. Would it be better if we just killed you instead? Every country that had freedom and liberty and some semblance of prosperity has lost it in the last 50 years because governments have been sold to the highest bidder. In this case, drug cartels go, we got lots of cash. So they give it to these whores in government, and they do as they're told. So, yes, the Jewish shine bomb is sold out in Mexico. The people know it. They don't like her. How did she get elected? Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyone who is worth a shit was assassinated during the election. Remember hearing about that on NBC, Fox, MSNBC, CNN? Do you remember hearing about all the political assassinations in Mexico? You don't? That's okay. Neither do I, because they never put them there. They never talked about it on our mainstream media. We covered it somewhat. Those were page 9 stories. Fuck up. They made it to page 9 even. Wow. How about that? Anyways, Carlos, my prayers are for the country of Mexico and the good people of Mexico to take back their country. Right? Mexico has a military, folks. They got military. They've got jets. They've got helicopters. They've got machine guns. They've got stuff. I hope that the government of Mexico fucking get rid of Shine Bomb. She's a pile of shit. That hook-nosed, ugly bitch is a fucking waste of time and money and effort. You need a real fucking Mexican as the president, and he could work with the government of the United States of America to come in and clean house and remove the fucking drug cartels. I could support that because Mexico is such a valuable trading partner. Like I said, minerals and metals. Mexico is rich, especially in silver, which is now a critical mineral in the United States of America. We're in a huge fucking structural deficit worldwide, not just the United States or Mexico. We need a lot more silver than they're producing. Stockpiles are disappearing. The banks don't have it. China just said, no more fucking silver. We're not letting our silver go. Mexico is a huge producer of silver. Huge. We should have the best trading partners in the world with Canada and Mexico. And we're right in the fucking middle. And it's been squandered. It's been treated like shit. It's been treated like a fucking political hot potato, a fucking political bank account. I want a strong fucking border between the countries, but I also want strong trade. You know what we're getting instead? Strong SHTF. They're continuing to fuck the Mexican people over. Just like our government, our state governments, and our local governments are fucking us over. Same with Canada, Australia, Scotland, Ireland, England, Europe. Anyways, Carlos, if you got anything else down there, feel free to send an email to the Prepared Mind channel. Just put in all caps, Carlos Granados, and we know who you are and where you're at, and we want to hear from you. If more developments occur, it's a big deal, folks. This potential revolution in Mexico. Right now, it's a protest. It's a riot. It's fucking mayhem. Right. But we're going to have more trouble like that around the world. And did you notice how allegedly, apparently quickly, right? Yeah, just like that. All right, let's do it. Who else is out there? Let's have some more, SHTF fun. We got Big Dan, the man, back with another $5 super chat. Hits the hat trick, and he says, you want cheaper, better healthcare? Make all government employees except the military pay for their own like we do, and it would get fixed real fast. Well, I think Big Dan has quite a point here. You see, in order to hire people, the government rolls out the red carpet and says, hey, come to work for us. We'll give you a wage better than the private sector. We'll give you paid vacation better than the private sector. We're going to give you health insurance, dental, medical, vision better than the private sector. And you don't have to pay for that out of your paycheck. That's a government benefit. Come work for us. We'll give you a better pension, a better retirement too, right? If you work for the government, we'll take you out of the Social Security Department You'll keep your own money, and we'll put you in a private retirement system. No wonder the government is so good at creating more jobs inside the government, expanding bureaucracy, expanding government power, expanding government institutions, local, state, county, federal, everything. Almost half the fucking country is employed directly or indirectly through the government. Directly or indirectly through the government. Half the country lives off the government. The other half is fucking paying for it. Dan, brilliant. You tell all those fucking people. Not yet. Oh my God. Oh shit. Here it comes. You tell everyone in the government, hey, you're still going to make more than everyone else in America. I think the median income of an American is somewhere around $70,000. I think that's the number. They can't even get that fucking straight and keep it straight. But I think the average government worker is like $105,000 a year. Tell them, hey, you're still going to make $105,000, but guess what? You can buy your own fucking insurance. That's right. And you can start paying Social Security. That'll help, won't it? They take our money and then they spend it on their own fucking programs. It's crazy business, folks. Crazy. So, we've got Blue Cord Devil who wants to join in on the healthcare with a $50 super chat donation. Super chat button is right up there. Right up there. That's how you get, well, you don't have to do 50, but 50 buys me a scotch and I'll take it. 50 buys me a scotch. Semper Fi, Blue Cord Devil. And I got to tell you, this single malt 18-year Glenfiddich is the cat's ass. It is good scotch. Semper Fi to you. God bless America. America first. Damn good scotch. Blue Cord Devil says, take away government golden healthcare and make them receive Veterans Administration healthcare that us veterans have. That'll get a lot fixed really fast, I believe. It would collapse their lie really fast. It would show everyone, right, that government workers have been getting it so good. They have. Have you noticed that government workers, the government shuts down, they still get paychecks, or the government shuts down and they get a big fat paycheck and a fucking bonus. Last week, the Department of Homeland Security said, hey, TSA, $10,000 bonus. $10,000. That would pay for my health insurance, and I could probably afford then, well, hearing, because my hearing is fucked. Vision, my vision is fucked. Dental, I got pretty good choppers still. But yeah, I could do a lot with $10,000. How about a bonus for me, huh? How about a bonus for all the vets out there who have trashed feet and knees and ears, who have got a fucking crick in their neck, or their fucking shoulders are pulled out of their sockets from dragging a fucking 50-pound pack up. Right, yeah. Give them Veterans Administration. Okay, this is how this works. You go into the VA, and they have you fill out a shit pile of paperwork, and then they just deny you. Nah, you don't qualify. You don't get it. Or, great, we're really glad you filled out all that paperwork. We know everything about you, and we got an appointment for you in 3 months. Come on back. The last time I had a military procedure done, I now have a fucking gold cap. Because they used, I think, a 3/8 drill bit to drill out a fucking cavity. And it weakened the tooth. They filled it and it weakened the tooth. And I have to admit, I got hit by what I think was a fucking horse. Just blasted in the jaw, cracked the tooth. Now I have a fucking root canal and a fucking crown that I paid for. Right? Several thousands of dollars for that gold and copper right there that I paid for. The VA, hey, look, I know the doctors that are there, they want to help, but the administration, see, it's the A in Veterans Administration that fucks us. Yeah. Take away their thrift fucking retirement. Take away their fucking perfect health care. People won't want to work for the government. Or their standard of living will drop down closer to where the rest of us live. Where we make, what did I say the median income was? 70,000? Can't tell you how many years I didn't make that. Living in fucking, working poor. Unbelievable how you have to struggle through that and buy health insurance and take care of your family until you get to a point where you make a bunch of money and then, the government finds other ways to steal it. Great topic. Awful topic at the same time. Ooh, man, who's next in the Prepared Mind channel? And we got Nettie Prepper checking in with a $1.99 super chat donation. And you ask, who do you think killed Charlie? For $2, I'm going to throw my dick out on the table and have everyone stomp on it with their opinion, huh? Yeah, I'm telling you. Good thing I had a scotch a moment ago, Nettie. I believe Charlie Kirk was killed by our government in a full-on conspiracy with Israel, Mossad. That is my opinion based on research I've done and what I think of the people who are in charge. Let me just go through and now I'll explain why. And you're going to get your money's worth here, Nettie. You have to ask yourself, who benefits? Who benefits tells you a lot about anything. Will you go to work for no money? No, you go to work for money. That's the benefit. Who would benefit from Charlie Kirk's death? Who was Charlie Kirk affecting? Positively or negatively? Was he negatively affecting the students at the colleges? Well, a lot of people didn't like his, shall we say, Christian perspective. But was he actually hurting them? Right? No. So you go, well, who was he talking, right? So Candace Owens has been very, very loud in exposing how Israel and Israeli supporters and AIPAC members were all pressuring Charlie Kirk to not talk about the genocide in Gaza, to not talk about Israel and what it was doing. And Charlie Kirk expressed in a lot of his communications that he felt very threatened by Netanyahu, by AIPAC members, and by other social media people who were being sponsored and supported by AIPAC and Israel. It becomes very clear. Who's responsible, in my opinion, when you ask who has the ability to do what was done. Right? I mean, there's a whole myriad of shit that happened. There's the airplane that took off, disappeared, and flew, and that supposedly is solved, but who knows? There was the report that there were no drones flying around, and just last week, more drone footage has popped up that there were drones flying around. They should have saw someone on that rooftop. The alleged killer, the Antifa type. Oh yeah, there's an association with Antifa and his fruitcake transgender furry boyfriend who also has disappeared. The photos of that guy that they arrested and are saying killed Charlie Kirk, and the photos of the guy in the staircase, they really don't match. Similar, yeah. Match, no. Who has the authority? Who has the power? who has the ability, the means to pull all of this off? And who benefits are the questions I ask. When you watch the crowd before, during, and after the assassination, you see characters participating. One of the most interesting characters is one that comes from the crowd side, does a Starsky and Hutch jump over the table like a hood of the car, slides, grabs something from someone else, and then runs out the back of the fucking tent. Doesn't pay any attention to Charlie Kirk on the ground, dying if he wasn't dead already. I believe he was dead before he hit the fucking ground. Based on the angle of the bullet, where it hit, and then its exit, the way his chest just expanded, his shirt blew. He was hit with a lot of energy. But that was a crime scene. It was assassination. It was a crime scene, an assassination. People were removing cameras, security equipment, surveillance, filming, right? It's a fucking studio in a college. And they removed all that equipment. Charlie Kirk's staff, I believe, were involved in his assassination. The people that he hired to protect him. TPUSA, in other words. And it is still under a huge amount of scrutiny from private investigators, and the FBI, I believe, is complicit in covering this up. Because they did not have a crime scene. They did not cordon it off. The next day, they started tearing the ground up, pouring concrete, removing evidence of the crime scene. Why that? Why would they do all that? If it's a crime scene, Charlie Kirk is very important, very special. Right? There should have been a full forensic investigation of the entire site. All of that video equipment should have been taken, not by Charlie Kirk's staff, but by law enforcement. I think the FBI was involved. I think they've got their patsy. I think they've convinced the world nothing. You know who there was the one old man. Remember the old man that had a BB gun? Right after Charlie was assassinated, he jumped up and said, I did it, I did it. They arrested him, right? He admitted that he was a fucking distraction. He did it on purpose to distract the police, the law enforcement, the crowd. Everyone was looking at him. They're looking over there while something else is happening. You know, he was on a tent. He was under a tent, right? Why was the tent raised about a foot and standing on blocks? Why did the tent need to be up higher? Could it be that the shot that hit him was taken from a location that required the tent to be higher? The whole thing is a giant fucking conspiracy, in my opinion. It was not some lone nut who liked to have anal sex with a man who thought he was a girl but dressed up like an animal in furry costumes. I don't believe that. It was not JFK was a lie. Everything's a fucking lie. The magic bullet was a lie. Only 3 shots was a lie. It was Lee Harvey Oswald was a lie. It's a lie. But they told us who it was, right? And Uman says, when you look for conspiracies, you see conspiracies everywhere. When you look for evidence, you see the evidence and you see inconsistencies in the evidence we're presented with. So we're left, in my opinion, with no choice but to think something else happened. Uman says, personally, I think folks are making way too much of this. Sometimes it is just an evil, hairless monkey doing evil, hairless monkey shit. It could be. It could be. But where government, this is my opinion, and like it, no one has to believe me. It's just my opinion. When the government is supposed to investigate a murder or assassination, why weren't they there? So if they didn't show up and go, what are you doing taking all this down? Right? Now, folks, I've been in emergency situations with fire, law enforcement, ambulances. They come in and they kick everyone the fuck out of the scene. They'll put that yellow tape up and you're done. You don't get to touch nothing. They grab witnesses. They start getting witness statements. So anyways, there's a lot of evil monkey business here. You asked my opinion. That's what I see. That's who I think is responsible. Our own government, folks. I think they were responsible for 9/11. Our own government, I think, was responsible for the Sandy Hook bullshit, the Boston bombing. I think they're responsible for Oklahoma City. I know they're responsible for Waco because they were the ones there. They're responsible for Randy Weaver. They're responsible for a lot. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, the event that led to the Vietnam War or the expansion of the American military into there under LBJ, right? But it was the Gulf of Tonkin. The Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, admitted after the year 2000 in college that it was fake, that it was bullshit, that it was a fucking lie, that it never happened. Yet it was reported to us, the people of America, that those communist fucks blew up shipping in the Gulf of Tonkin, therefore justifying the expansion and use of American military in Vietnam that resulted in 67,000 Americans being killed. I take that fucking personally. That's just me. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's just me. Telling me that one bullet hit the president in the back, came out the throat, right? Turned, went over, hit the governor of Texas in the fucking ribs, came out his chest, went over, hit him in the fucking arm, came out of his arm, and then stuck in the fucking leg. And it took like 2.5 seconds to do that. Magic bullet. They fucking lie. You don't have to look for a conspiracy in many of these cases. You just see the evidence that the government says, hey, believe this sack of shit. Or if you don't believe it's a conspiracy and the government's involved, you have to believe that people in government are the most retarded motherfuckers on the planet to come up with that kind of explanation. Now, we go to the next question, right? This begs the question, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. Whether it was the Vatican, MI6, Israel, the FBI, the CIA, whether it was Prince and his boys, I don't know. I don't know who really did it, but my best guess is just my best guess, and I can't do a fucking thing about it. I'm nobody. We're all just little people. We're hairless monkeys, and there's nothing we can do about it, nothing we can change. All we can do is take care of ourselves, protect ourselves and our family to the best of our ability, live our lives to the best we can, make good decisions, try and promote our governments to make good decisions until they fuck up so bad that we end up with a Mexico City incident and we have a bunch of revolutionary, radical, crazy bastards trying to take over government. And then we can scratch our head and go, the people that just did that, are they the good guys or the bad guys? My Corsair trainers. Hey, man, good to see you, dude. He says, anyone who's been in bad situations a lot can tell you people act weird when violence happens. If you do not know this, just say you haven't been in the shit much. Yeah, people act fucking weird and stupid. But policemen have a job. Policemen know when there's a shooting, you go in that direction, you make sure no more shooting happens, and then you have a crime scene. There was no crime scene established there. That's why people go, wait a minute, it's not a crime scene? And then they start asking for other things like the coroner's report, etc. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I believe what I believe, and everyone else can fuck off if they don't agree with me. That should have been a crime scene. It should have been roped off. There should have been evidence collected. Why were people acting the way they did? It's not right. And I know people act weird, but why would you run to Charlie Kirk, jump over the table, skip over it, and then take something from someone and run away with it? How did he know what to take? How did that guy know what to give him? What did he fucking give him? I don't know. It's weird. It's fucking strange as fuck. A lot of people believe that the real Charlie Kirk was pushed down in a tunnel and that they had like a mannequin of Charlie Kirk. They pulled up out and they substituted him, and Charlie Kirk escaped in the tunnel and he's living in an island somewhere protected because he's going to turn state's evidence and he's going to make sure that the lizard people are found guilty because where we go one, we go all. So trust the plan. It's 55D chess, and the aliens are on that comet and it's coming and they're going to save us all because Jesus Christ is at the captain's seat and he's piloting the ship to Earth, right? I mean, where does the conspiracy end? And is it really that complicated? Or is it really just some bad people who are in positions of power and they can do stuff? Over the weekend, they released more footage, alleged footage, of the Mandalay Bay massacre in Las Vegas that occurred during Trump's first term in office. And it showed a helicopter with flashes of light coming out of it. And the video was described, or we are told that that's a gunship. It's a helicopter gunship. And that was evidence that, yes, they were firing weapons out of the helicopter into the crowd down below, where lots of people were killed and injured and maimed and trampled. I actually had 3 different contacts in Vegas that night, that weekend, in different positions of authority and different levels of experience. Number 1 was my head of surveillance, was there for a surveillance conference. The day after that shooting, he was tackled by a policewoman and a police guy, and they finally stood him up and looked at him and said, "That's not the guy." Right? And they're looking for an additional killer. No, wait, we were told that the one guy, the one killer that somehow managed to fire thousands of rounds into the crowd, was in that room way up there and he was killed. Why are they tackling someone else on the street looking for more suspects if it was a lone shooter? That was one guy. This is the same guy who is a Navy veteran who served in submarine service during the fucking Cold War and did some incredible shit. A very trustworthy guy, knowledgeable, intelligent, smart, and a personal friend of mine. I believe him 100% that if he said he was tackled by police looking for more suspects in a crime that was supposed to only have one guy, it's kind of a conspiracy. The cops are covering stuff up. Okay, people act weird, do weird shit. Maybe there was other suspects and they just found out, ultimately there was only the one guy. The government is full of retards. That could have been just a retarded mistake. So let's go to person number 2 that I know in Vegas, Paul. Paul worked for Las Vegas Police Department. He was their IT, their information technology expert, who handled and controlled all of the surveillance cameras around town. Guess what he did? Right? Again, personal friend, contact. He told me what? They had surveillance and it showed other windows on those buildings with sparks, light, flashes, gunshots. The sounds of these gunshots were different. The report, the sound of them. Yeah, they're different angles, different distances, right? He says, hey, in my opinion, from what I saw, there were multiple shooters coming out of that place. And windows below the 13th floor could open. They didn't have to break them out. Guy number 3 worked for Mandalay Bay. Very important, top-level security guy. And the FBI came in, took all of the video recorders, and just left with them. The government came in and stole all of the information. I believe, I think it was Mohammed bin Salman was supposed to be in that hotel as well. And there's a lot more shit going on. The point is what they tell us is this much. What they know is this much. There's this many retards working on it. There's mass confusion and stupidity. They give us a fucking story, and everything's a fucking, everything is bullshit. Everything's bullshit. You don't get to know what's in Obamacare until you vote on it and pass it, and then we'll let you read it. Government is full of fucking retards. I've seen too fucking much when I was a fucking jarhead. I know these people are fucking liars. So Charlie Kirk. How did we get on this? Oh, yeah, that's right. We had someone ask about Charlie Kirk. I believe it was a fucking complicated conspiracy. A couple of people involved in it. But the police got involved. It got stupid. It got political. And here we are. We still don't know shit. We still don't have answers. We have a lot of speculation. Everyone's a fucking expert. I don't know. But if I was to say who did it, who had the most to gain, who wanted him silenced, because that's what happened. What was the net result? Charlie Kirk was silenced. What was the net result? Right? There's your net result. Who benefits? Who was he the biggest threat to? Was he a big threat to homosexuals? No. Why would a homosexual want to kill him? Well, because he made them mad. Well, yeah, these fruitcakes get mad and kill people. I guess they could have wanted to kill him. But did the homosexual, LGBTQI, pedophile, furry, did they have the ability to call off the police and not do an investigation? Did they have the ability to designate that as not a crime scene? Did they have the ability to organize the cleaning of the site and remodeling of it and capping it in concrete? Did they have that authority and ability? No, the LGBTQIAP pedophile furry crowd did not have that authority. So someone else must have had that authority. All right, enough of that shit. Holy crap. I didn't know all that was pent up in here. In any event, folks, who can you trust? Who can you believe? Mr. Ooman. Where do we want to go next? And they got Big Dan the Man with a $5 super chat. He says, how long were you in the Marines? You need a haircut, Semper Fi brother from another mother. Why is it whenever my hair gets this long, someone has to fucking pull my chain and tell me I need a fucking haircut? I know I need a haircut. It's going to happen this week. Probably going to happen tomorrow morning. I know I need a haircut. But you know what? When I was a Marine, no one was allowed to grow beards. Why is it that I see people growing beards in the military now? Oh, those are special ops guys. I think I've seen a lot of people with beards. Anyways, I really appreciate it, Dan. I'll get a haircut tomorrow. Thank you, brother. It's not as bad. I've had it longer than this, and sometimes it gets so long that I get upset with myself. And I'm just about there, but you just pushed me over the edge, man. Who's next? Who do we got, Mr. Ooman? We're at an hour and 45 minutes. We got Viking Boomer with a $20 super chat donation. And he says, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia and New Zealand are all becoming one-party nations due to third world legal and illegal mass migration. This is why we can't get rid of the liberals. Okay, back to this. And I've got to tell you, Boomer, the United States of America is right here also. They're telling us, normal people, dare I call us natives, they're telling us that we shouldn't have children. They make it super expensive for us, taxation, having babies, the tax, right? It's expensive to have kids. Stop having kids. You're killing the planet. You're taking too much resources. We're bad, right? And then they replace us with these illegals who get the what? They get the communist promise. Food, housing, clothing, jobs. They're promised and given everything. And so these dumb kids, these dumb idiots that are voting for the mayor of Seattle and the mayor of New York City, they think they're going to get everything free from the government, so they need to keep voting for this. Yeah, it's become one party. Now, if we go all the way back to the 2016 election for president, I was pissed at Donald Trump. Why? Because all he was doing was competing with Hillary Clinton on how much stuff he could give away, how much stuff the government would fund, how much benefits they would provide. It was a fucking giveaway. I'm like, wait a minute, stop. Why are we talking about freedom and liberty? Why are we talking about our rights in the Constitution? Why are we talking about fixing the economy, getting rid of this budget crisis, right? No. Instead, they just talk about giving away the farm, everything, right? Throwing all this money, and they're doing it again. But Canada, the UK, the other Anglo countries, the other common law jurisdictions on the planet, they're doing the same thing. They're bringing in these illegals, promising them everything, giving them everything, letting them get away with establishing themselves and their religion and becoming the dominant, right? Even though their population isn't there, they're going to be there because they'll come in and they'll have 4, 5, 6, 8 nice inbred babies with very small, low IQs, and they're ready to fucking be violent. A couple of generations, they'll own these fucking countries, including my precious United States of America, unless something drastically fucking changes. We can't get rid of the liberals because they keep buying voters, whether they're our own domestic native voters. By natives, I don't mean the indigenous North Americans. I mean people who were born here and they want everything for free. And they continue to promote this idea that people in my generation, Gen X, my parents, the boomers, they keep promoting the idea that we were given everything, that it was fucking easy, that we've got it good, that we're getting everything, that we, everything we have, we fucking earned. Some people earned it twice. They got married, had a family, lost everything in the fucking divorce, had to go out and build it all again. And I got it fucking easy. We got it easy. People that put up with that shit, they were destroyed by the 2000 dot-com bubble, the 08 financial collapse, the 1986 fucking screw job. Everything the government does to fuck us over. Whoops. Sorry about that pandemic. Whoops. Sorry about that. Your business is done. You're toast. Your job is done. Toast. Oh, but we're going to let in all these illegals and we're going to give them free shit. Yeah, you bet. That is SHTF promoted by the government because they want our constitutional republic destroyed so they can substitute their fix. All right, let's continue if we shall. Thank you, Viking. Great. $20 super chat. And we got Big Dan the Man back again. Uh-oh. He says, I used to be a man trapped in a woman's body. And after around 9 months, I was born. Just cracks me up. These whatever people in fantasy land. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the joke I remember hearing before all these fucking trans testicles came along was, men, we're trapped in a woman's body for 9 months and we do everything we can to get out. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to get right back up in there. Anyways, man, I really appreciate that. Yeah. Fantasy land. You can pretend you're something, but it doesn't work. You see, the people in Mexico, let's use Mexico again as a great example. Scheinbaum pretended that she could give all this power and authority to the cartels and that they could give her all that money and no one would notice and everything would be fine. Well, it's not fine. And everyone noticed. Fantasy, reality. You believe you can say whatever you want and there's no consequence is the fantasy, or you can believe that you can say everything you want and there's a consequence, and that's reality. And you're going to have to suffer the consequences for that free speech. And that's something that I have fucking suffered with for years, folks. But it was a price I was willing to pay to be able to say what the fuck needs to be said the way I want to say it and share it with you guys and hear what you have to say and make it an open place where you can say whatever the fuck you want. And we can have discussions. Maybe not as civil as Charlie Kirk. But here we are, folks. Shit is hit the fan, and it's not getting better. And it's about to get nastier. Anyways, Mr. Uman, who has been moderator extraordinaire in the background, thank you. Holy cow. It's our good friend, Mr. Skylight, with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he's got one of his great quotes. And I love the quotes. And Mr. Skylight, I want to thank you for the great information you've been sending me through back channels lately. He says, some days you feel you're surrounded by idiots. Other days you realize it's not just some days. I don't know who said that. That's a good one. I've never heard that one. That's a great quote. That sounds a lot like a Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain. It sounds a lot like something he would say. Anyways, one of the truly great smart-ass satirists of all time, Mark Twain. But I'd like to know who that was, Mr. Skylight. Thank you for the great super chat. Pancho Villa? Davey D says that was Pancho Villa? Andale, woo, arriba, Pancho Villa. Anyways, that's good stuff. Who said that? Anyways, that Davey D is another awesome, great super chat, comment, question, topic picking dude. But we got some more to do. We're running out of time, but I'll stay here as long as we got things to talk about. So, Mr. Uman, where shall we roll next? We got a $2 cash app from Bart Fine. and nothing is showing up in the Cash App, and sometimes it doesn't really fast. I'm glad you said something, Bart. He says Cash Patel should pay his pussy bill, not the taxpayers. I agree. I can't. Does everyone know what he's talking about? The director of the FBI, Cash Patel, is flying all over the country, got caught, exposed. People are pissed off because it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, for him to fly in the FBI government plane to go play with his fucking girlfriend. Now, I believe it was Corsair trainers that said, hey, as the director of the FBI, he doesn't have a choice. Am I right, Uman? He has to fly wherever he goes. No, that's incorrect. Or it wasn't Corsair. Okay. That's an issue. Cash Patel flew from somewhere to like Tennessee to listen to his girlfriend sing a song, and it was C. It was C. Now here's the deal. Cash, if you have to fly in a government plane and waste our fucking money and tax dollars so you can go hang out with your girlfriend and get laid, you bug-eyed twerp, how about this? You use your private money and you fly her to you. You're the FBI director. Your girlfriend comes to you. And if you want to be gay, your boyfriend comes to you. You don't take our fucking tax money and go fly around the country or the world to see your girlfriend. Talk about pussy whipped. Woo! All right. And if you look at Mr. Cash Patel and you look at his girlfriend, you know why. Right? It's way out of his fucking league. Way out of his league. And yeah, every now and then you'll see one of us guys with a girl so far out of our league, you're like, what's going on there? Well, power and money. Money and power. All right. Yeah, it was C that said that. Oh, and we've got, hey, Chelsea Weerung and husband checking in with a $99.99 super chat donation. And that means I'm going to have another scotch. And I need one. I mean, luckily, Blue Cord Devil scotched me up before I did that discussion on the Charlie Kirk thing, which I know is a fucking contentious topic. And there's a lot of emotions and feelings and thoughts and ideas and convictions and everything behind it. And I'm glad I had that scotch, and I'm glad I'm having this one. Chelsea, you and your husband have supported this channel. You're good people. You must be. Otherwise, you wouldn't waste your fucking time listening to me shoot off my fucking mouth and listen to what we talk about for hours every week. But I'm glad you do. Semper Fi to you and husband, and down the hatch. That is smooth. So smooth. Boy, the difference between a 12-year and a 15-year is big, and the difference between an 18-year is just enormous. Thank you, Chelsea. Woohoo! Very nice. Okay, and no question there, Mr. Uman? All right, well, if Chelsea's got a question, of course, let's throw it up there. Who else is out in the audience has something to say, something to do? And it's Blue Cord Devil back with a El Duo $20 super chat, and he says, just like the sickness, and he's talking about COVID, right? The coof, right? The cough, the bullshit, the cerveza bug. Just like the sickness of 2020, I tried to tell my sister not to trust the cure. She took it and got my sons to take it. I'll hold her responsible if anything happens to them. I'm very sorry that your sister told your sons to take that biological fucking concoction. I'm really sorry about that. Members of my family have taken it. Members of my friends' families have taken it. Even some people I consider friends they took it. And I can tell you why. They were scared to death. I've watched videos this weekend, and there were reminder videos of what happened in 2020. People locked in their houses. In fact, that stupid bitch who has been she's the governor-elect of Virginia. They wore plastic contraptions over their body out in public with little fans and filters, and right, they didn't want to get sick. They were so scared. Grandma was scared to death. Grandpa was scared to death. Kids were scared. The fucking checker at my grocery store in California, so upset. I don't know if she was scared, but she was so upset because everyone was acting like complete fucking lunatics. She started crying. I was like, you gotta fucking laugh, right? I got her to laugh. Anyways, right, she stands on the one side of the checkout thing and she sees people walking by all day long. And what does she see? She sees scared people, right? She's exposed to scared people as a checker. It affected people. It scared them. And then you have adults afraid of what the government is telling them because they accept what the government say as truth. Once again, I mean, I can ask everyone, was COVID real? Or was it an escaped fucking bug, either intentional or accidental, intentionally manufactured with the hope and dream that it would cause all kinds of havoc and cause a worldwide pandemic and fuck everyone up and scare them into accepting whatever the government was going to tell, right? It was a giant conspiracy to fuck us over and control the world and change it. And it failed miserably in one aspect, in that it didn't kill tens of millions of people in 2 weeks. In fact, over time, if you remember, as time went on, each mutant strain was less effective. And we even had doctors coming out that were able to speak, thankfully, and tell us, yeah, things don't mutate and get worse. They mutate back to their original form. COVID-19 was coronavirus, the common fucking cold. If they modified it genetically somehow using their CRISPR gene splicing technology that they say doesn't work, but it works. Which one is it? Fucking government, right? And they created this. Well, it goes back. Kind of like taking, let's just say, dogs. Special breeds of dogs, right? Oh, look at this. You got this little fucking schnauzer here, and you got a poodle there, and you got a German shepherd there. What happens if you just let them start breeding and interbreeding? They go back to the basic original dog, right? They stop losing all those specialized traits and characteristics. Same with the virus. It failed in that it didn't kill us all, but the government scared the shit out of people. The experts scared the shit out of people, who scared adults, who then scared children and talked them into it, because everyone above the kids, sadly, unfortunately, were recognized authority figures. Recognized authority figures. Mikey G, the largest PSYOP ever perpetrated against the world. Oh, I got to tell you, man, it was the largest medical PSYOP ever perpetrated against the world. Yes. There are other giant conspiracies. What is the purpose of a psychological operation? It's to get people to think a certain way, believe a certain way, accept certain facts, and obey a certain way. And they change the direction. Something's going this way, they need it over here. So they create events. It all comes down to power and control, wealth, and the fucking egos of the people at the top. If you think your boss has a fucking ego, I don't know who your boss is. You think he's a power mad fucking lunatic? Imagine someone with the power over a city. I've met a lot of city managers, folks, lawyers normally, mayors, city councilmen, county supervisors, district attorneys. I've met these people and shared drinks and had talks with them, and public utility people. Some of them are fucking asshole lunatics. I mean, we're talking God complex, and they're fucking nobody. Imagine somebody in charge of a state, in charge of the National Institutes of Health, in charge of, I don't know, the FBI. Imagine how fucking power crazy and mad they can get. J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI, folks, ran that organization from its inception in the 20s all the way through to what? The early 70s? When he finally fucking kicked the bucket and died? legislators, senators, the president, right? Presidents. They're power mad. Right? The Fuhrer, right? Adolf Hitler, Stalin, Chairman Mao. Kill everybody, right? They're crazy. Psychological operations. They're just people. They're just humans, just like me and you. They breathe air, they eat food, they shit, and they ultimately will die. But the havoc they can cause is unfucking believable. I really hope everyone is sharing this video link. Share down below. Hit the thumbs up. Be sure you're a subscriber. Make sure everyone watches this. We're at the 2-hour mark. We got more to talk about. Thank you, Mikey G. Mr. Uman, what shall we talk about? And it's Blue Cord Devil. Woo! And he's back, and I'm going to end this. Well, I'm going to accept this particular super chat donation of $50, which means we're at the end of the show. A little bit long, not bad, but I'm going to have me another scotch, and I'm going to have to get another bottle because that one, well, by the end of the week, will be gone on its own accord. Blue Cord Devil, thank you, sir. Sorry about that. I inhaled a little bit. Blue Cord Devil says, peace and prayers, John, Jolene, Uman, and everyone else. Watch your six. Stay calm. Stay armed. I think it's our job as adults, as parents, as veterans, as patriots, to protect the weak. If you have the intellectual wherewithal to help others learn, but in all ways and in all cases, support liberty, freedom, and do what you know is right. God bless. Semper Fi. I love you all. Thank you for the great support on this show. I'll be back tomorrow. Semper Fi. Oh, man.